There's still more to be done. Wait, I guess it's me. Something seemed off. Not only with the story she had just told, with her. Wait, I guess it is the narrator. Go ahead, Doc.
Not only with the story she had just told herself, with her, and with you yourself. Assuming everything she had said was the truth.
Kate.
Oh, right. Which or not, my mind is made up.
Which will strike you first, I wonder? Regret? Or a curse?
You seem to be doing just fine. It's only a tale.
The witch is real. Very much so. It's not a legend, nor a fairy tale. The witch is me.
That's right. It wasn't the white-haired girl who had claimed to be the witch. And that wasn't all.
Duties too, Doc.
Okay. Or do you mean to reclaim your old self, no matter the cost? If you do, if you're sincerely prepared to do that, then be wary of the tale that comes next. Any tragedy that seems too beautiful to be real is precisely that. A fabrication. None of your questions had been answered. You still don't know who the painting was, or what had taken place so long ago that caused the mansion to summon people to it. You didn't even know who you were, for that matter. There was still more to be done. You had to find the truth. You needed to find someone. That much was certain. But was the story the maid had told correct about whom? And if it was, what about her? What about the woman whose name you couldn't say? The woman who had so cheerfully called you master.
Kate.
We agreed that we would live together, not just in the same house. So we've got plenty of time to add more to the list. And I hope you can make your own list about me too. This is just the beginning of it all. We've got a long, long time ahead of us. Plenty enough to get to know each other, no?
You must say her name. You must take her hand. You must make her smile once again.
Alice.
You mustn't Oh, sorry.
I think that's in red. It's Alice. Doc, I guess
Me?
you can do the white text.
Yeah, sorry, there was white text. There was red text that wasn't on the screen for very long. It's dark. Dark. It's dark. It's dark again. It's dark. 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 constantly. Constantly engulfed in darkness.
Let's do the red text.
You threw it away. Every single time.
I must break out of this darkness.
I'll give you a world that's not cruel to you.
I must escape and take her hand. Because that's the reason
Oh, I've got a wonderful.
idea I came here.
You can curse them with me.
I must return. I must reclaim.
We can think of new ways to torture them. We'll all.
Be happier if you stay here. Just think about it. Stay here in this world. You'll be right at home. No!
I did the best I could for you. Nothing more.
This is not where I belong. No matter how much a world of darkness may suit me.
You'll never be able to do it.
I must reclaim my true self.
Wait, that was me. Oops.
This is brilliant. Do you have any idea how terrible a decision that is? Do you have any idea why I fabricated that story? It was all for you. So stay here. Stay right where you are. The darkness suits you better. Remember what someone told you not long ago? That you could handle the stories because they weren't your own? That you were able to bear the tragedies because they happened to others? If that had been your suffering, if the secrets you had kept buried away for so long had come out, you couldn't possibly have endured it. But you're a sharp one. I'm sure you intend to keep those secrets tucked away forever. Do you really think I'm going to let you do that, though? Whatever you try to hide, I'll make sure your beloved hears every last detail. How foolish can you be? Despite all my encouragement, you still insist on getting your old self back? What do you have to gain from that? Nothing but filthy, ugly tragedy awaits you down this path. Don't get your hopes up, my dear. There's nothing for you there. You have nothing. I'm offering you a place by my side. You should just take it. There is no salvation for you anywhere. None. At all. Anywhere. From anyone. Ever. She has long since lost all grip on reality. And you think there's anything you can do for her now? Despite having repeatedly failed to even regain yourself? Well, I suppose if you're going to be stubborn, as much as I don't want to, I have to place a curse on your soul.
That's right. The white-haired girl was never at the mansion. there is still a story left untold.
What?
The fourth door was all a lie.
What do you mean?
It's not some sweet little tragedy. The story you tell is pure fantasy.
No, that was the truth. That was where it all began. Because of what happened then, you spent innumerable years lost. Until you showed up here and... What?
Duck.
You reach out, grasping for it. You pull yourself in. Your silhouette, which has been hazy until now, begins to take form. Your mind, your consciousness, your heart, your soul, and your body.
Who are you?
The veil in your mind dissipates. A crack forms in the shell encasing you, then another. The invisible shackles chaining your spirit fall to the floor. Reality fades in atop the indistinct, foggy world around you. Bony fingers appear before your eyes. Long hair. Your voice. No.
My voice. My body. My fingers. My arms are frail, my joints weak. But despite my resemblance to the white-haired girl, I am not her. This is who I am. I finally reclaimed myself. You weren't waiting for the white-haired girl. You were waiting for me. That's exactly why I came here.
What? I have no idea what you're talking about. I have always waited for the white-haired...
There was never a white-haired girl. It was only... this time. This time I must say her name. She is... Giselle. There is only you.
I am... Giselle. No, I'm not Giselle. I'm a servant of the house. I'm the witch, the cause.
You're not a witch. The witch is someone else. Why do you insist that you're the witch? What changed you so much? The shadowy figure in the master bedroom. That was her. A glimpse into her past. I'm sure this is Giselle, but why is she so different? What happened to the spark that she used to have? Where did the light she once shone upon the world go? I had to remember. I must remember. This cannot end until I have. This is no longer a story. No. What I need to face is my past. And her heart. She's not even present in the story she made up. Everything about it had been changed. The past it lived, and the wounds she bore, were more grounded in harsh reality, not wrapped in a film of fairy tale and magic.
That was the final tale, and it was all true. That's how it happened. It was a bittersweet story.
No. How can you not see this? Yes, it was a beautiful tragedy. But was there even a scrap of humanity in it? Behind the three preceding doors, been a constant thread of ugliness and conflicting motivations. But there's hardly a trace of that behind the fourth door. The characters felt like nothing more than characters. Is that what you turned it into? Is that what you wanted history to become?
Our history... But that... But I don't remember anything at all.
You don't remember anything.
No, I don't want to. I don't need a past or future. All I have left inside me is uncertainty.
Giselle.
No. No. That's not my name. Please stop trying to confuse me. I'm fine with things the way they are. If it means I don't have to hurt, that's all I want. So please, just let me keep being the maid. Let me keep being a guide, not some foolish girl.
Is that what she honestly desires? Does she want to cast aside her past for good? If so, then not remembering isn't an option. No matter what she said, I know I'm right. She doesn't reclaim her old self. I'll never get to hear her say my name again. I know I'm being selfish here, but I can't do that. If you're afraid of what you might find, we can remember together. I haven't gotten everything back yet myself. So let's open the real door. Together.
There are no other doors to open.
But there is. One that can only open by our hands, because it exists between the two of us. Not a door of physical form, but a door to your heart.
The door to...
I grasped her unnaturally cold hand, a hand that long ago once had warmth. She can't lead the way, and I have to. Let's pick up the pieces of our race history so we can both reclaim ourselves. Find the actual truth. No matter what we may uncover, we'll not let go of this hand. No, we mustn't let go of it. Darkness falls over the world around us. The floor upon which we had been standing flickers out of existence, sending us dropping into an endless abyss. This dark pit, this is her door, her history, her heart. Let's try this one more time. It's not a sweet story by any means. It's a story of betrayal, anger, hatred. We caused each other pain, but that's the road we traveled. And down that road lies all the answers. Kate.
It had been several days since I left the capital, and I could still see it when I closed my eyes. People lined up on the Grand Pont, awaiting entry, eager to start new life there, brimming with hope. It was a city people were willing to pay high taxes to live in. If you were a performer, you could get some of those costs shaved down a bit by putting those skills to use. The capital was harsh on those who wanted in, and apathetic about all who left. It was composed of a powerful nobility and clergy, wealthy merchants and bankers, and a large population of poor. And it was the city I'd called home for a long time. I didn't know much about where I was heading. It's getting foggy. Looks like it might rain. Maybe we should take a little break. You want to keep going? Oh, all right then. The coachman was frustratingly taciturn. He acted as though we'd gotten stuck transporting a prisoner. So that was hardly a stretch. From his point of view, I was nothing more than a criminal. Even the times he would acknowledge I had said anything, he made no effort to hide the scorn in his eyes. to pretend he didn't regret ever taking this job. And I would just fall silent again. The road was gradually getting narrower. We had long since left the paved city roads behind, and were now traveling along a couple worn-down groves in the forest. How did I end up here? Why was I being subjected to this? I was done thinking about it. The more I thought on it, the less fair it seemed. The more I remembered, the worse it hurt. All I could do anymore was close my eyes and weather the storm. Deep within the dense woods, a mansion appeared before us like the world fading into view after a dream. It didn't seem to be a especially large house, but it had obviously been constructed with a great deal of care, and it was, thankfully, not standing in ruins. This deep in the forest. The carriage came to a stop, and the coachman climbed down, signaling with his chin for me to get out. Thank you, very much. You must be tired after such a long journey. This is the mansion I'm looking for, yes? But the driver didn't even acknowledge me, getting back under the carriage and setting off into the forest. He seemed to want to get as far away from here as quickly as possible. You could have said something. Oh well. That was about all I could say, anyway. Oh well. I couldn't blame anyone for my being here, or for wanting to get out. I should get going, I guess. Getting a better look at it, the house windows were, strangely enough, all shuttered. It was probably dark as pitch inside. Does no one live here? But if that's the case, then why was I placed my hand on the front door. Such a big door. What if I couldn't get in? I had no idea what else there was in the area. If the door didn't open, then I would die out here in the forest. I've come to accept much, but I was not ready to forfeit my life yet. Please open. It's not locked, I guess. The door was heavy, and I thought it seemed to protest my attempts to enter. It still opened much easier than I was expecting. I was worried over nothing. Looking in, I got the strangest impression that light was being swallowed up into the mansion steps. Rather than going inside, it felt as though I was about to step outside the bounds of this world. When I closed the door, it was so dark I couldn't even tell where I was walking. I wonder if the window's open. Though I managed to fumble my way over to a window, it was tightly shuttered, and the shutters caked with rust. I was probably not getting it open without a fight. Darn, not a hint of light. Couldn't even see my hand waving in front of my face. It felt as though the floor would fall out from under me and I would sink into eternal darkness if I didn't watch my step. Fighting back that fear, I slowly walked forward, tracing the wall with my hand. There was a door at the end of a long corridor. I pulled it open and a wisp of bone-chilling air brushed past me. It was too dark to see anything, but I could feel something different present in this area than the rest of the house. Uneasiness gripped me. Hello? Is anyone there? Please don't tell me that it's actually abandoned. I suppose I can't know without looking around a bit more. My voice simply disappeared into the void. No response. As I pushed forward through the freezing air, for a split second I spotted a shimmer of light. Squinting my eyes, I was able to make out a large window. Unlike the others, it wasn't shuttered. What do we have here? Drapes? I see a little light beyond. My chances were slim, I imagined. If there was even a slight possibility of getting some light in here, it was worth a shot. So I pulled open the drapes. The next moment, faint but colorful light shone down on me. It was a stained glass window. From beyond the glass, I could hear the subtle pitter-patter of rain. It had finally started, it seemed. The different colors of light blending into a milky white, dim but wondrous. It's so pretty. It looks like an angel. Why would someone cover this up? It's beautiful. With a little more light, it would be...
Please do not touch the drapes. Or the windows.
Suddenly, I heard a voice, and I could sense someone else in the room. The man's voice was emotionless, neither deep nor high. Before long, he came into view, illuminated by dull orange candlelight. I'm sorry for coming in uninvited, but I did announce myself. The mansion stood there practically blending in with the darkness. I'd been there the whole time. He was staring straight at me. His gaze wavered slightly, but not enough for me to read anything. Then again, I could hardly make out any detail, at all under the light of a single candle. Is this your mansion?
It is.
Thank goodness. I was afraid it was deserted.
I suspect you would prefer it if the house were abandoned.
Oh, not at all. I'd be scared to death staying in this dark mansion all by myself. I'm sorry. No ill will intended. But I do think it could do with some light. That way you could see where we were walking. And I'm sure this room would be splendid illuminated.
Not necessarily. Make do perfect well as things are.
How can you see when it's so dark?
Have abundance of candles and oil for lamps. I am not in want of means of creating light. It's not your place to criticize my lifestyle. You need light, you're free to leave. You're in need of money? Help yourself to some of the furniture. There's a village not far from here. Ready for food, then make your way to a larger town.
I'm no longer able to freely return to the city. I cannot go back there. Please don't chase me now.
I see. Do you ask this of me aware of how people refer to this mansion?
They say that a witch lives here.
Not merely a witch.
A cursed witch.
If you remain here, you too shall likely suffer your own destruction.
You're worried for my well-being. Witch or not, my mind is made up. I was sent to this cursed witch's mansion to atone for my transgressions back in the city. It didn't matter what lived here. I had no choice.
Which will strike you first, I wonder? Regret or the curse?
You seem to be doing just fine. It's only a tale.
The witch is real. Very much so. It is not a legend, nor a fairy tale. The witch?
The witch's name was Morgana.
Is me. Yes. It was the first encounter. It was nothing flowery or dramatic. It was rather laced with suspicion and wariness. We knew nothing about one another. Had no interest in changing that. But nonetheless, this was where it all began. Where my history with her commenced. The woman had jade eyes. Open wide, they glimmered like jewels in the light shining through the stained glass window. She seemed to be at a loss for words. I wasn't lying, per se. The rumor said a witch lived in this house, and I was the only one who filled that criteria. Thus, said rumors could be interpreted to be talking about me. After staring at me dumbfounded for a few moments, the woman suddenly burst into laughter.
Oh, wow. Here I was thinking you were kind of scary, and it turns out you're actually quite funny.
What?
I never would have guessed you were someone to tell such ridiculous joke with such a straight face.
I wasn't.
You don't look at all like a witch. I mean, it's dark and I can't really see, but you seem to me like a rather handsome man.
Word witch. Word witch has broader meaning than just a woman who practices magic. Any unholy person with cursed powers, man and woman, can be considered a witch.
I think I get what you're trying to say, but my mental image of a witch is definitely more a woman. So you're not a witch. To tell you the truth, I didn't know who might be here, which had me rather scared. But I think I can make this work.
What are you?
It's a pleasure to meet you, Master.
Master?
I was sent here from your old home. I was an Abigail for your mother, but, well, I might have made a little goof.
I froze the moment the word left her mouth. Home. It rattled around my skull, shaking out terrible memories that almost brought me to my knees. Why, after all these years, were they reaching out to me now? Not even sending someone to bring me back, just sending someone. To what end? What purpose had they shipped an Abigail out to this remote mansion? What was my mother thinking? Was this another one of her attempts to break my curse? What do you mean you made a little goof? My voice came out weak. I did my best not to let it show my face.
It was a teeny tiny mistake. Nothing you need to concern yourself with.
What did Mother say about me?
Well, it was actually your father who told me to come here. I never really spoke to your mother much.
Father sent you? That made even less sense. Why would he have? Did Father even know I was here? No, if I had known, I would have been... Who was this woman? What was her goal in asking to stay here?
Well, there you have it. I'll be here for a while. If you need me for anything, do not hesitate to ask. I'm confident I can handle most everyday tasks. Now, where should I begin? Oh, I know. Are you hungry, Master? Food. I can't imagine you eat much, being as skinny as you are.
Turned my back on her without responding. No matter what her goal was, she'd been sent from that house. There was no way anything good could come of that. There's no way I could live with someone who had ties to them. I prayed she would take the hint, give up and leave.
Master!
So I kept ignoring her.
Master! Master!
I ignored
Master!
her.
Master, what would you like for supper?
Nothing! I failed, spinning back and shouting. Her eyes went wide, then she gave a sheepish giggle. Glared at her, she fidgeted uncomfortably.
Eating is one of the most basic human needs, so if you're hungry, you should really eat.
I said I didn't want. What was that sound?
Must you ask? That's not a very polite thing to ask a lady, you know.
Huh?
You know. It was a long trip and I had to eat on the road was dried fruit. Felt like I was some kind of animal. So, what I'm trying to say is that I'm hungry.
That wasn't the sound of her stomach growling, was it? I thought lightning had struck in the distance.
And would like some supper.
The kitchen's the far end of the hall on the first floor. There's food in the cellar. Help yourself to any of it.
Thank you so much. I honestly feel like I haven't eaten in days and I'm about to die of starvation. Oh, and I shouldn't need any help finding it. I plan on exploring the house anyway. It's rather exciting being in a new place.
Damn it. That didn't go as planned. Oh well. She can do as she pleases. Nothing to do with it.
Oh, Master, are you sure you don't?
No.
Master. Master.
What's it now?
My name is Giselle. It's a pleasure to meet you. And your name, Oh, Master, you.
I actually left the room that time, making my way back to my chambers. At some point, I would seriously have to chase her out. Especially considering I just come for that house. Regardless, I was not terribly fond of her.
I didn't really understand Michelle. But that was probably because we were still essentially strangers. Having been sent to the mansion as reparation for my mistakes, I wasn't sure who I might find there. But I was tentatively convinced he wasn't a terrible person. He didn't do anything to me, except stay away. Michel spent most of his time in his chambers, which he had told me to never enter under any circumstances. So we rarely encountered one another in the halls. For that reason, I made an effort to be kind and cheerful on the sporadic occasions we did cross paths. I figured if I kept that up long enough, he would eventually warm up to me. And as new housemates, being able to enjoy our time together was obviously preferable to the alternative. If I did manage to break the ice, I hoped we would be able to do some talking about the mansion, about him, about me. I just had to keep working at it. Michel didn't need me to take care of him. He handled his own day-to-day needs and activities by himself. And in fact, he didn't ask me for anything. An aristocrat who had no use for a servant. I haven't met anyone else like him before. All right then. That meant that all I could do was clean. I wasn't sure how his room looked, but the rest of the house was, quite frankly, an absolute disaster. The dust was so heavy it was obvious they hadn't been touched in years. Let's get started. Couldn't be healthy to live in those conditions, so I set out to clean each room in the house one by one. That said, I wasn't going to be an easy task. Not because I was bad at cleaning. In fact, I consider myself quite good at it. But because it was near impossible to find all the dust and grime that needed cleaning under the flickering candle of a light. I can't understand how anyone sane can live in this dark. What's wrong with him? Maybe he's actually a vampire. Oh god. Wouldn't that be something? I can see it now, him sneaking out every night to suck the blood out of pretty girls. Priceless. Ah! That means I'm in trouble. Look at me. Miss One-Woman Comedy Show here. Yep. If I am able to get him to warm up to me, though, maybe that'll get me a little more room to make some changes. Like opening some windows. No light, no fresh air. No thank you. Anyway, I set the candlestick down, pulled over a chair to stand on, and started wiping down the shelf. The chair's legs seemed to be uneven, as it wobbled slightly beneath me. So many books. I wonder, do they all belong to him? I knew parchment was expensive, so it was rather astonishing to see this many stacks of it in one place. There were even some books with bulky, extravagantly decorated covers. He does come from an esteemed family. I'd spent enough time at his family's home. It was a constant bustle of servants and guests. The exact opposite of what this mansion was. Why had he left his home? What had he done to be sent all the way out here to this remote mansion with a less than savory reputation? Need to be careful not to overstep my bounds. I'm a servant now. A servant. But once the thought had crossed my mind, I couldn't get it out. I'd always had a bad tendency to chase my curiosities as soon as they struck, pushing to scratch the itch no matter how much my actions annoyed others. Couldn't do that here, though. I was simply a servant, and if I got on Michelle's bad side, I risked getting thrown out. I wonder what kind of books he's got in here. So I attempted to distract myself. I grabbed one of the books and attempted to pull it out. What? But the strings binding the parchment must have gotten tangled at the back. Whoa! Because the books on either side tilted backwards. Ah! And then the entire row came crashing down on top of me. Ow. Oh, for cripe's sake. I'd fallen off the chair, and the downpour of books was still coming down on me. A mountain of dust with it. Seriously?
What are you doing?
What? Suddenly, Michelle was there, looking down on me from a little ways away. There was, as usual, not much I could read from his expression, but I could hear a vague trace of exasperation in his voice. I was doing some cleaning, and...
Impressive work.
I'm usually better than this. It's just so dark. Mistakes should be expected. I really think we should open some windows, Master. Get some light, some fresh some air flowing through here.
I never asked you to clean anything. You did this entirely yourself.
But there's so much dust. It can't be good for you.
I am perfectly healthy. I don't see the problem.
Have you even seen himself? No way someone that skinny was perfectly healthy.
You look like you have something to say.
You can make out my face in this darkness? Oh, you know. I wanted to be useful, and cleaning was all I can do here, so, you know.
I was sensing something else, but alright.
He let out a sigh, stepped over towards the pile of books, and then reached his hand down for me. I suddenly felt a pang of embarrassment about the fact that I was still splayed out on the floor. But I raised my hand up to take his, only for him to pick up a book instead. You could at least help me up,
You have legs.
he said, casually returning the book to the top shelf. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe he was a terrible person. So, Master, are all these books yours?
Giselle asked, not a trace of remorse visible in her face, despite having made a mess of the room she was supposedly trying to clean. I gave a curt nod.
Really? That's impressive. Must have been hard work getting them all up in here, huh? It's gotta be 100 books here. You could fill a whole carriage at least. It's like you got your own personal library.
She'd been pounding on a few months earlier, but her smile was back in short order. Her jade eyes were like little balls of curiosity, glittering in the faint candlelight. I was not particularly fond of overly expressive, rather, overly curious women. I did not care that they trampled uninvited into other people's personal spaces. Were they not even aware that their actions were invasive? I averted my gaze from hers. I see one roughly every month.
Ah, I see. Wait,
Turned back towards the shelves. I presumed she understood the implication of what I had just said, but the fact that there were nearly 100 tomes here, I received only one a month.
huh.
Giselle fell silent. I couldn't blame her if she thought my circumstances, or my family, or my life bizarre. But I didn't care what she thought of me. In fact, it was my advantage for her to be uncomfortable. Just needed her to stay quiet, keep her nose out of my business. It's more than I thought. So not to her, but to myself. I had no reason to count the passage of time anymore. Only books serve as a record of how long I've been here.
W- 121.
What?
There are 121 books. 10 years and 1 month.
You were counting? I thought she had just sheepishly gone quiet. What an inscrutable woman.
You've been here in the mansion for that long? All by yourself.
Truth was, there have been times when I wasn't alone. But Giselle had no need to know that. You already know the answer. A look of pity formed in Giselle's eyes. Enough. I never asked for her sympathy. I'm here by choice.
You mean you weren't banished here?
No restraint. This woman. No. I came here of my own volition. I didn't care enough to elaborate, though. Picking another book off the floor, I brushed the dust off its cover. It was a gaudily decorated tome.
That's a very fancy book, isn't it?
Apparently Giselle was unable to take a hint.
What's it about?
A little sign open to no page in particular, sticking the book out towards her. She was a servant, and a woman. There's no way she could read.
Let's see here. This land is hardly suitable for cultivation. It can only produce over sour grapes. I'd probably get more out of it if I tore down the fields and made it into a market. Sounds like a Lord's diary.
You can read? I was caught slightly off guard. It's rare for a noblewoman to be able to read and write, let alone a servant. Was she truly what she claimed to be?
I had someone teach me. So is this book any interesting?
Dull, worthless tripe. Can imagine why anyone thought it was worth binding.
Tough crowd. But it's not very often you get to see a Lord's diary. I'm rather curious what kind of things he griped about.
Lord or king, what value was there in another grumbling? There's no knowledge contained within that book. Just emotions. Unsightly scribbles. There's nothing more exhausting in this world than being emotional. Wanna read it, be my guest.
That wasn't my intention, but all right. Once I've got the whole mansion cleaned, I'll read it.
I told you, you don't have to clean.
Oh, I've got an idea, Master. If you're interested, maybe we could read together.
Did you hear a word I just said? It's dull, worthless tripe.
Still, you might see it differently if you read it with someone else. And I'm sure there are some books here you would enjoy, Master.
You're wasting your time. There's suspicion of strain budding between us. It was trite and insignificant at that point. She was still smiling. After all, if I'd been able to maintain that distance, then perhaps I've ended up hurting her.
It had been a little under 2 weeks since I had moved in with Michelle. Though we lived in the same house, we rarely saw each other. On unlucky days, I wouldn't see him at all. I wasn't sure if he ate in his room or our schedules were simply misaligned, but we never had any meals together. Perhaps he was deliberately avoiding me. That has to be it. I know servant and master don't usually eat at the same table, but even so, he could be a little less obvious about it. Am I really that much of a nuisance? I'm not doing anything inappropriate, am I? I'm being pleasant and sociable, aren't I? I haven't given him any reason not to like me, I think. Hope. He had never been very enthusiastic about me staying here. But I hadn't even been given a choice. I had been sent here by his family. Besides, out with the negative thoughts. Gotta stay positive. Yeah, he hasn't tried to chase me out yet. I just haven't broken the ice. had to stay positive. Optimistic. Happy thoughts. And be myself. As long as I kept working at it with enough time, Michelle would surely come around and not be so distant. I've got a goal, so let's get to work. First, I make supper, then I ask him to have it with me. Gotta be proactive when it comes to the reclusive types. Alright, here goes. Or here would go. But we're almost out of supplies. Well, so much for that. The cellar was where the non-perishable food was stored. Dried food, smoked meats, cheeses, and a small scattering of root vegetables. Looking at this makes me feel like a soldier holding down a castle's fortifications. Had Michelle really gone 10 years on nothing but this? I would have raised the white flag long ago. He said he hadn't left the mansion at all in those 10 years. I assume he at least goes out to get supplies, right? Running out of food is kind of a life or death matter. I can't believe he hasn't set foot outside even once and...
What are you blabbing on about?
Ah! Oh no, he overheard me.
I assume you were talking to someone.
Huh? Does anyone else live here, Master? I haven't seen anyone.
It's just the two of us. Alive, anyway.
You mean there are ghosts?
Something of the sort.
There you go again with the jokes. I'm not a child. You're not gonna trick me like that.
There are adults who believe in such things.
I suppose. But I don't really believe in ghosts or demons or curses or any of that. The church just tries to convince people that they're real so they can squeeze more money out of them.
Am I going to have to turn you over to the church? You blasphemer?
No. I pray every day, honest.
I don't particularly care either way. I'm returning to my chambers.
Well, already? You didn't, come down for food?
I came down here because I heard voices.
A moment, please. Just wait a second.
What?
Our stores are almost empty. What do you normally do when you need more food? I'll happily accompany you on a trip to the market.
Already? That was fast.
There are two of us. I really don't eat that much, do I? In the dim light, it was difficult to make out Michelle's expression, but I thought I could see a tinge of annoyance on his face. Hold your ground, Giselle. You said you wanted to get closer to him. Is that a parsnip? Michelle was holding a tangled ball of roots. The reason I asked was because the parsnip looked like it was on the verge of a total decomposition.
See, there's still food.
He then handed it to me. Wait. You want to eat that? It's clearly seen better days. You're gonna get sick. Or are you telling me that you can survive on rotten vegetables?
Of course I won't eat it. I just figure it hardy enough to survive.
What do you think I am? No, he is definitely a jerk.
Whether the resulting diarrhea might reduce your appetite?
You're kidding, right? You can't be serious. Anyway, we should bury that outside. Then we could go purchase fresh supplies.
I told you, I don't go outside.
Then how do you... Huh? A visitor? Who could it be?
Perfect timing. You're a servant. Make yourself useful and go retrieve the package. It's not delivery, but a wanderer. Chased him off.
What? Package? Master? Hold on a second. What are you talking about? He's gone. What kind of delivery is he expecting? Michelle stood there, unmoving, veiled in shadow. He glanced over at me, then threw his gaze at the front door. At his command, I raised the bar, pulling open the door. After nearly 2 weeks inside, the light from the setting sun almost blinded me. The world went white, my head pounding. After a few moments of intense blinking, my eyes acclimated themselves to the evening sunlight. There was no one outside. Only a crate easily large enough to fit a child. Is this the package? Master? I turned back to face Michel, but he wouldn't meet my eyes. For it seemed more like he was avoiding looking at the light rather than me. He started to seem more and more like a vampire. Not that I believe in vampires, of course. Regardless, I pray there's nothing bad in here. That's heavy. Master, could I get some help? Gee, thanks. I am a servant, admittedly, but this is a lot to ask of just one girl. A little help would sure be nice.
Once it's inside, close and bar the door.
He said dispassionately, his head still turned toward the darkness. As you wish, Master. Once the door was shut, I found myself sucked back into a world of darkness. It hadn't even been 2 weeks, but the lack of light was beginning to become my normal. The outside world growing farther and farther away. Being holed up in here is definitely not good for me. I should go for a walk sometime, maybe plant some flowers or vegetables. Yeah, I like that idea. Maybe I can grow that old tangle of roots into some fresh parsnip. What else do we have to plant? It'd be great if there were some flower seeds.
What are you doing? Open the box. Now.
As you wish, Master. Oh, there's food inside? In the box, there was a burlap sack filled with berries, root vegetables, and smoked meats, as well as an assortment of bread, fruits, and wine. Aside from the fruit and bread, everything else was the same as what Michel kept in the cellar. And buried beneath the burlap sack was a single book. 1 book a month. He really hasn't gone outside in 10 years.
It appears you've begun to grasp the situation.
Yeah. But why? This was delivered by someone from your house, Master, wasn't it?
A servant, I assume?
Why would they leave without saying anything?
No one wants to talk to a cursed man. In the past, they would occasionally check in on me, but that hasn't happened recently.
They think you're cursed?
Oh, right. You don't believe in curses. And come with your own explanation. Excuse for them to want to stay away from me. That, for example, I killed someone. Or maybe that I'm insane. Regardless, I am not normal. Bring the food down to the cellar. The book to the library. You are, of course, free to refuse and run back off into the woods.
I'll do it.
Alright. Then take care of that.
Hey,
What is it?
I just noticed there's something else in here. It's wrapped in cloth. What could it be? Oh, a painting! For you to hang up somewhere in the house, I presume? It's so dark I can't see it very well, but I'm sure it's...
Don't touch that!
What? Michelle, who had kept his distance from me until that point, suddenly marched over and ripped the painting from my grasp. Master? His face was twisted into a look I had never seen him make before. Was it indignation? Disgust? Hatred? Panic? I couldn't tell, but there was more than enough negative pressure to cause me to flinch back. Is that painting perhaps something important?
A landscape painting.
He muttered under his breath, the tension melting away from his face. I was left looking at his usual blank, impenetrable expression. But his eyes were still fixated on the picture, staring at it unblinkingly.
Why a landscape painting? Some kind of passive-aggressive message? It's not anywhere nearby. Did it travel somewhere? Well, it's none of that girl, so that's an improvement.
Master?
Oh, you're still here?
Still here? Of course I'm still here. Who do you think you asked to take care of the package? What's with you? Just running over and snatching the painting from me? You scared me. Could you maybe explain yourself? What's so special about that painting?
I don't believe that's any of your business.
None of my... Of course it is. You ripped it out of my hands like I was some kind of thief. And I have a right to know what that was about. Maybe an apology while you're at it. You told me to open the box, so I did. Then all of a sudden you're angry.
We are not equals. Do not mistake yourself for my friend. You have a right to know, but no such thing.
You don't have to be so rude.
I'll say it again. Leave if you don't like it here. I never asked for you to be here. It was your wish.
My wish? Are you out of your mind? I never asked for this. I never wished for it. Who in their right mind would want to be sent to some house in the middle of nowhere? Who would ever want to go through with that? No, calm down, Giselle. Can't get angry. You're right. That is what I wanted. But I never wanted to make you mad or for us to argue like this. I just wanted to get to know you better, to get closer to you. I mean, it would make things smoother for the both of us. It would make living together more enjoyable for us.
Listen carefully. This is very important for you to understand. Do not try to involve yourself with me. Do not go probing around for information. You can't do that? Leave.
I completely shut out. The glare he was giving me and the standoffish aura he was emanating were reflecting of his tone of voice. Why? Why did he try to push me away like that?
It seemed Giselle really didn't know much about me, despite being sent here from my house. She's unaware of the monthly deliveries, so the reason why I live in this mansion all by myself. Why, though, would they not have told her anything? Why had she been sent here completely left in the dark? Giselle looked up at me, fear and bewilderment in her eyes, though I thought I could see a glint of suspicion beneath it all. Like her true feelings were bubbling to the surface. Everyone had darkness in them they kept hidden. No one was exactly who they appeared to be. She was undoubtedly thinking, I'm not here because I want to be. I knew from the moment I first saw her that her bubbly, sweet effect was all facade. She thought I was dense enough to not realize she's no different than anyone else. What I didn't understand, though, is why she refused to leave no matter how hard it pushed. What was she hiding beneath that innocent-looking face? What was she thinking? What was she carrying on her shoulders? Everyone is hiding something, deceiving those around them. I had to figure out what she really was. May I ask you something?
Yes?
On the day you arrived, you said you made a teeny tiny mistake while working at my family's house. Tell me about that. What did you do at the Bollingers' estate? In that moment, brief though it was, her disposition wavered. Fear? Terror? No, perhaps anger? I couldn't tell. Nevertheless, it was abundantly clear that that was a subject she had no interest in me breaching. So she had borne her fangs. The smile she donned now was visibly forced.
It's nothing you need to concern yourself with, Master. I promise it was an insignificant little thing.
She couldn't say. Why couldn't she tell me? What has she done there? Does this woman know about that house? What does she know about me? What was concealed beneath that smile of hers? I am the master of this house. You are my servant. And still you refuse to tell me?
Like I said, it's nothing. There's no reason to bother you. They're the mere servant's personal blunders, Master.
What are you hiding?
I'm not hiding anything.
Then you should be able to tell me exactly what you did at the Bollinger estate.
Like I said,
Tell me. Tell me.
You won't tell me a thing about yourself, and yet you demand others tell you about themselves. Here you are practically threatening me. Demanding I tell you something I don't want to talk about. And yet you still haven't told me anything about the painting.
Oh ho, so I was right. You do have something to hide. How many times must I repeat myself? We are not equals. I don't care if it's insignificant or something you don't want to talk about.
What?
I'm ordering you to tell me. A trifling blunder would not get someone sent to live with a cursed man in a house spoken of so unfavorably. Whatever she had done at Bollinger Estate, that has something to do with why she was here. If she truly hadn't done anything, then she had something to gain from this place. Or possibly from me. If that was the case, I had to get her to talk.
Make me...
Giselle's eyes were open wide. I recognized the look she was giving me. I knew very well what that gaze meant. Nika?
You're an abomination!
I was the same as them. Fear, contempt, revulsion, repulsion. The way she acted, the way she spoke, was exactly the same. You're no different. I made her uncomfortable. I made her afraid. She thought it was unpleasant. She thought it was despicable. She thought I was... an abomination. In a frenzy, I grabbed her by the shoulders, clamping her down far more powerfully than I meant to.
Ow! Stop!
Her face, contorted in pain, morphed into someone else's. Who was I directing my anger at? Where was this rage being aimed? Who are you calling an abomination?
What?
Tell me, who? Black fur bubbling up from within me knew no end. The girl, she ridiculed me. She denied my identity with her glare. I couldn't escape from that phantom, that reality.
What are you? I never called you a... No, get away from me! Get your hands off me!
Giselle's scream echoed in the entrance hall, rattling my eardrums. She frantically smacked my arms aside, and I came back to my senses. She was standing a little ways away, breathing heavily, arms wrapped tight around her body, glowering at me, showing her opposition to my touching her. Lightning.
No. You just, you startled me, that's all.
Some servant you are, telling your master not to touch you.
I'm allergic to people. It's a very unique condition, I hear. I mean, can you believe that? See, you know how some people get all red and itchy when they touch a dog or cat? It's that except for people, so... I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. I beg your forgiveness.
Why don't you speak your mind?
What?
This is what's going through your mind right now. Have nothing to apologize for.
No, that's not...
I can somewhat sympathize with your plight. Being made to apologize even though you're hurting. I raised my hand against you first, after all.
Then you forgive me?
Sympathy does not equate to forgiveness. Now you take care of the package. I'm heading back to my chambers. What is it?
You're not going to make me leave after what I just did?
No, I am not. Or it seems I can make you leave on your own whenever I so please. Besides, I have yet to learn what she had done. It'd be exceedingly difficult to get the story from her own mouth. She left me with one option. To write a letter to my mother. Much as the very thought revolted me.
Several days had passed since the package arrived. The end of my 3rd week living in the mansion was drawing near. Michel wasn't getting any friendlier either. He continued to either snub or bluntly dismiss me whenever we crossed paths. I didn't understand why he acted that way around me. But there was little point in asking when he seemed to think there was little point in talking to me at all. Although at first, I had been sure there was some way to get him to warm up to me. The more time I spent in the mansion, the more my willpower began to feel like it was at its breaking point. I could tell myself to stay positive until I was blue in the face, but it would only work for so long. The one pretty place in the whole house. I'm glad he hasn't covered it back up. Blue moonlight shone quietly through the stained glass window, vainly illuminating some of the room. I hadn't noticed until now, but the room with the stained glass window appeared to be modeled after a chapel. Rows of pews faced the window, below which sat what used to be a pulpit. There was very little left of it, though, and an awkward length of silver was mounted to the pulpit's front face. What was, I assumed, formerly a cross. Upon further reflection, rather than facing the window, the pew seemed to be pointed at the pulpit, or perhaps the cross hanging on it. I wasn't sure why there would be a chapel in the mansion, but I had no one to ask about it. For a house of this size, a statue of Christ or the Virgin Mary seems more appropriate. It's a very well-made chapel, at any rate. I doubted Michel had built it for himself. There would be no reason for him to cover the window if that were the case. Nor had I ever seen him come to pray. He didn't seem like one to believe in God. God. I'm not even sure if God really existed, then surely the world would be a much more pleasant, peaceful place. No unfair disparities in money or power. No senseless misfortune. I certainly wouldn't have found myself here either. But God was evidently quite fond of giving mankind's trials, so he would probably tell me with a straight face that this was one too. Or perhaps we simply had a false impression of him, and he didn't actually give us anything. He merely sat back and watched from somewhere far, far away. It wasn't his job to bring peace to the world or ensure our laws were fair. That was all mankind's responsibility. What is God? What are angels? I have no idea. Maybe the Bible has answers. Why should I pray to someone so far away? How do I know my prayer is even getting there? But still, it's not like I have any other options. Don't you worry. It'll all work out, I promise. I already know where I'm going to work. It's a really prominent noble house, way out of reach from some small-time merchants like us. You never know, this could really be my big break. Oh, I'm just kidding. Don't look so worried. I'll be just fine, honestly. I'll make enough money for us to get back on our feet. Oh, for goodness sake, I can handle it. Leave everything to me. You just wait. I'll make our family into something you can be proud of. I'll be fine. Yeah. Say bye to Mom for me. I probably won't be home for a while. What? You're afraid I'm gonna make some careless mistake? I'm not that airheaded. I can be a refined and elegant young lady. Those nobles won't even know what to believe anymore. If you don't believe me, how about I give you a little taste? How are you doing this fine morning, master? Your morning beverage is ready, prepared with the utmost of care. See, how about that? Not bad, huh? What? You really think it sounded forced? I was the daughter of a merchant who ran a shop on the capital's main street. My father had passed away in a plague, so it was just me and my mother and my older sister. It would be a lie to say business was doing well. We struggled to squeak by day to day after taxes. But we couldn't just abandon the shop and leave the capital either. So we tried to make the best of what we were able to take in between the three of us. Then, my sister fell in love with a moderately well-off aristocrat. Both my mom and I were supportive of her and her desire to marry. But their union almost fell apart because she was not suitable for him. Merchants were hardly the lowest class, but what we lacked instead was wealth. We needed another source of money beyond what the shop took in. If only we had money, my sister could be married. If only we had money, my mom wouldn't have to work so hard. If only we had money. It was then that someone from the distinguished Bollinger estate approached me. He said they were in need of Abigails and would love to have me. He said that if I agreed to work for them, the Bollinger estate would take care of my family. Generally speaking, noble houses took Abigails from other, lower-ranked noble houses. It was unthinkable for someone of my status to receive such an offer. So I took it as a once-in-a-lifetime chance and accepted the offer. I just pray that nothing bad happens to my sister, and that Mom is getting enough money to live comfortably. That's all I can do. They're nobility. They have plenty of money. Enough to spare some. The light shining through the stained glass window began to grow murky, fading into blackness. It felt like a message from on high, that no, my prayers would not be answered. The bluish-white illumination shining down upon me disappeared as the clouds blocked the moon. Oh, come on. You don't even want to look at a sullied woman like me? Oh, for heaven's sake. I never asked to end up like this. They're nobility. They have plenty of money. Enough to spare some. Oh, come on. You don't even want to look at a sullied woman like me? Oh, for heaven's sake. I never asked to end up like this.
Giselle was sitting on one of the pews in a room with a stained glass window. Just looking at her, you might have thought she was offering a prayer. The words coming from her mouth were anything but prayerful. They were filled with resentment. They had plenty of money, a solid woman, and then I never asked to end up like this. So, this is what's beneath that facade. Most likely money's what she's after. What I need to do now is confirm her suspicion with them. So what awful secrets will I uncover? I gave Giselle, sitting in a pew with her head drooped, a cursory glance before leaving the chapel. As someone else to be. The bitterly cold outside air felt like dozens of needles flowing into my lungs. It's been so long since I'd stepped beyond the mansion's walls. A thick mist canopied the night sky, blocking out the moonlight. Naturally, the heavens did not rejoice at my leaving the house. It's been 10 years since I'd seen the mansion from the outside. It hadn't changed one bit. A gleaming scar upon the earth, shrouded in darkness. Hardly the kind of place someone would enthusiastically approach. Nonetheless, it's been in that house. Duck.
Yes? Who is it?
Michelle.
What? Michelle Bollinger? Just one moment. I'll be right there. Come in. It's a humble abode, but make yourself at home. Wow, I must say, this is rather unexpected. Just one word, and I would have been up there in a heartbeat.
And how was I supposed to do that? I am, regrettably, fresh out of carrier pigeons.
Right. Yes. My apologies.
This man, living in a small cottage not far from the mansion, been hired by the Bollinger family. His job? To watch over me. That's it when I actually interacted. He was tasked with keeping track of whether I was still alive, and whether I remained in the mansion. The monthly package from my family was delivered to him, which he then passed on to me. It was insipidly convoluted, it was indicative of how much they wanted to avoid anyone learning about me.
Well then, what can I do for you?
The manservant was visibly rattled. Afraid, too. Not because of the difference in our social ranks. I had a pretty good idea what he had been told about me. He was afraid of me. More specifically, my curse. People fear that which they cannot comprehend. Not just children, adults as well. They fear demons, witches, and curses. Anything impure or not of this world. But had long since gotten used to being viewed as such. It didn't sadden me. It didn't disappoint me. It didn't pain me. Some things are too foolish to concern yourself over. It certainly doesn't make me feel good either. I was, on some level, annoyed. That woman's appearance at the mansion had created ripples in my once tranquil life. So before I got into the real reason for my visit, I decided to take out a bit of my frustration. Raise your head, there's no need to be afraid. I don't know what you've been told, but I promise I don't bite.
How rude of me. You're right. My sincerest apologies.
Your job is to keep watch over me. The mere sight of me has you trembling. What will you do if I try to run? I have little trouble escaping.
That would be quite unfortunate. What would I ever tell your mother?
I'm not sure that would end well at all. You could lose everything you've been paid so far. In fact, you might be lucky to get out with your life.
Surely your mother would not.
You are aware of who you're dealing with, right? Michel, the cursed youngest son of the Bollinger family. You made a pact with the devil. I don't need a blade to take your life. You wouldn't even make it back to report anything.
Have mercy, Lord Michel. Please do not leave the mansion. Please spare me.
Only joking.
What?
I don't have the power to kill by way of curse. Mel found silent, but a look on his face said, "You are cursed though, aren't you?" When someone got an idea planted in their head, it's not impossible to get rid of it. I'm so cursed that anyone can see it. And to be locked away in a dark mansion. I'm here because I had a question for you, not to warn you that I plan to run away.
A question? For me?
Yes. Approximately 3 weeks ago, a black-haired woman came to the mansion. Tell me what you know about her.
I was told there would be an Abigail coming, but that's all. I don't know anything else about her. I swear, that's all I know. I haven't been told anything else.
I believed you. Never thought I would tell you anything.
Right.
I've been hired to observe me. But that's all he was. A hired hand. wouldn't be privy to the Bollingers family internal affairs. Take this.
A letter?
I need you to deliver it to my mother.
You could have just left it in the box from this month's package, and I would have collected it when I dropped off the next one.
I'm in urgent need of information. Will you do this for me?
Yes. Why, yes, absolutely. I'll fetch a delivery boy tomorrow morning.
Much appreciated. Good night.
You too. Do take care. Lord Michel,
Yes?
is it true that you don't have...
Would you like me to sew your mouth shut so you can never open it again?
Not at all. My sincerest apologies, Lord Michel. That was horribly disrespectful. Good night.
Cursed. Most certainly am. My mother's response arrived just 10 days later. The delivery boy must have pushed his horse quite hard. It's almost exactly a month after Giselle had moved in. Shortly thereafter, on a bone-chilling night, everything came crashing down. The rift between us grew deeper, and the wall between us impossibly high. When I lay bare, the scars in her chest, mercilessly plunged my knife into them.
How did we get to this point? Ugh, I hate everything. My spirits were getting darker and darker, like they were slowly sinking into deep morass. I had been at the mansion for a month, and every day since felt twice as long as it should have. I had been optimistic at first. I'd even had a little hope that me and Michelle could get along together. But it hadn't taken long for that hope to be shattered, and the cheer locked away inside me. We lived in the same house, but we never spoke anymore. On the few occasions we did cross paths, he just gave me a cold glare and nothing more. Scorn and suspicion in his eyes. Whenever he looked at me like that, it felt as though my throat was being constricted, like I was deep underwater and running out of air. Like my very presence in the world was a crime. I never could have imagined just how agonizing constant rejection was. I started despising others, despising myself, despising the world, convinced there was no one who could set me free. I considered running away from everything rather than live like this another day. But I would have done so long ago if that were actually an option. If they found out I had fled, that I'd acted outside their wishes, my mom and sister would pay. I had succeeded in allowing my sister to get married and my mom to live comfortably. I'd given them happiness. I couldn't take away from them again. Not after what I had to go through to do it. No, cut that out. Getting way too desperate, Giselle. Pull yourself together. This is not who you are. Be positive. The negativity didn't only come from my interactions with Michelle either. No. There seemed to be some kind of terrible presence within the mansion that twisted people's hearts. The mansion was, in fact, a bit of a local legend, which I had been informed about before being sent here. People claimed it was cursed, and that an evil witch had lived in it for many, many years. Michel joked that he was the witch, but I didn't believe him. I'm not usually one to believe in magic or curses at all. But being here so long, I can't help but wonder. Anyway, things can't go on like this. If I was to remain in this house, the situation needed to improve. A lot. I was going to lose my mind if things kept up as they were. I was ready to give up once. But I'm going to try to close the distance between us again. If I could get him to open up even the tiniest bit, then maybe that would make living here a little easier. I wasn't going to try to make us best friends or anything. Just repair our relationship enough that being around each other wasn't torturous. Got my work cut out for me. How do I even begin that conversation? Heck, what is that conversation even going to be about? Maybe I should hold off, do it another day. No. I've made up my mind to do this, so I should get to it quickly. The longer I wait, the worse things are going to get. And eventually there won't be any fixing anything. We need to talk. We need to be in the same room for more than 10 seconds, and we need to get to know each other. He needs to know that he's not the reason I have something to hide. Okay. Let's do this. I made my way to Michelle's chambers, which he had told me to stay away from. My stride was slow and ponderous, but at the very least I did my best to keep some semblance of a smile on my face. This is the one time where I'd really like to have someone give me a little nudge. Breathe in, breathe out. Okay. Pardon, Master? There's something I'd like to talk to you about. Master? Guess he's not here. The door wasn't locked. As was the rest of the house, his room was shrouded in darkness. The only light came from the candle in my hand. Master? Are you there, Master? Guess I missed him. It's probably best if I don't stick around for long. He's already got less than stellar impression of me. I don't want to imagine what'll happen if he thinks I've been snooping through his room. Yeah, I should get out of here. I spun around on my heels, taking a step toward the door, when I caught sight of an object draped in a black sheet. I knew I had to get out of there as quickly as possible, but I was intrigued by that object. Something he kept hidden in a room I was forbidden to enter. Maybe it was a clue to discovering Michelle's secrets. I reached my hand down toward the object, knowing good and well I shouldn't. Was it because I wanted to learn more about him? Was it because I wanted to tear down the veil he hid behind? Or was it the whispers of the witch? What do we have here? I pulled off the sheet, revealing a framed painting of what appeared to be a noble woman with porcelain white skin. What stood out about her, though, was that the woman's hair was as pale as her skin. And then, I noticed something else. Wide gashes ravaged the canvas, damaging her face beyond repair. What the? I imagined it had once been a painting of a beautiful woman, but there was hardly a trace of that left. The only feeling it inspired anymore was a deep chill. This damage was not accidental. It was deliberate, angry, and the contempt emanating from within the frame was stifling. Thick, suffocating blackness seeped into me. Why would anyone... She was surely the most beautiful woman. Angelic, even. The storm of questions assaulted me. Who was she? Why had her face been carved up? Why had the painting been covered? What had happened? Who could have... There's only one person who could have done this. Michelle. Why on earth?
You saw it, didn't you? You saw the painting, didn't you? You entered my room without permission. You saw the painting, didn't you? Angelic, you say? There's nothing angelic about that damned woman.
I scrambled to make some excuse, but nothing would come out of my mouth. All I could do was tremble.
Why'd you enter my chambers?
Michelle.
What were you looking for? Answer me!
My mouth wouldn't move properly. I couldn't make my voice come out. It was like I wasn't even in my own body anymore. The wisps of air that were drawn into my lungs were expelled as hoarse gasps. My breaths were shallow and rapid. I was inhaling, but I wasn't getting any air. I was terrified. 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 His eyes, of his voice, his feelings of the knife he held him up to me, of the terrible past I was chained to. A man's voice, a man's very flesh, terrified me.
What were you trying to find? What were you planning to do with it? Answer me! Nothing you refuse to tell me then?
No, I'm trying. Nothing's coming out of my mouth, though. Everything's so bright. I can't catch my breath. I can't breathe.
That's fine, though. You don't have to tell me. I have a pretty good idea.
An idea? Well, what do you mean?
Money is what brought you to the Bollinger estate. It's what brought you to me, too. There are countless people who would love to see that house fall, and noble family fears nothing more than disrepute. You were, I presume, approached by some scheme in the Bollinger's downfall.
No.
As it just so happens, the Bollingers have a very unfortunate secret, one that they're quite desperate to keep under wraps. Me. Some suspected I might still be alive, so they sent you to dig up information about me. My very existence threatens to tear down that house. The cursed youngest son of the Bollinger family. Michel, he made a pact with the devil, who is supposed to be dead but is very much alive. You sweet-talked your way into that house, into information about me and my present situation, and to trade that information for money. But whoever was put quite a handsome price on it too. Maybe the one plotting to ruin the Bollinger family is you.
No, that's not true.
Then enlighten me.
Please, hear me out. I didn't know anything about you. I wasn't sniffing around or trying to bring you any harm in any way.
Then tell me, Is that not reason you wormed your way into the Bollinger estate? That's not what you're doing here. Then tell me what it is. Tell me why you came to this mansion.
You want me to tell you about that? No way, that's asking way too much.
Tell me.
I swear I haven't done anything to wrong you. I simply wanted to make our life together a little more comfortable. To bring some warmth to this frigid relationship we have. It's the only reason I wanted to find out more about you.
Must assume I'm right then. Giselle?
I must tell him he's wrong. I must tell him I mean him no harm. But I can't say anything.
The merchant's daughter became an Abigail at a noble's house. Could you come with a more obvious lie?
Your father's the one who... Wait. Doesn't he know that I'm from a merchant family?
You look perplexed. Maybe imprisoned in this house, not free to move about as I please. I have my ways. I know everything.
Everything. Then he knows about that too.
Oh yes, I do know.
Don't.
In your quest for money?
Don't say it.
You slept with my father!
In that moment, Michelle plunged his knife into my heart. He carved through my chest with those words, causing me to completely lose control of myself. In a panicked frenzy, probably screaming all the way, I knocked the man aside and ran and ran and ran. I heard a clap of thunder in the distance. Oh, I wished a bolt of lightning would come crashing down upon me. May God burn my tainted flesh with divine thunderbolt and rid the fell. The jagged streaks of light cascading across the dark cloud did not strike me, only creating restless crumbles in the sky. Why? If I fled that mansion, I would likely be causing trouble for my mom and sister. But I was helpless to stop myself. All I could do was run from all that threatened me with no regard for the consequences. Before long, small droplets of rain began falling, which soon grew heavy enough to penetrate the forest canopy and reach the ground where I stood. The downpour drowned out my tears and my cries. Because I had rushed from the mansion without even putting on a cloak, each cold winter droplet stung bitterly against my flesh. But the bite of the rain was like the warm embrace compared to what I'd been through before. Michelle had spoken the truth. As much as I wanted to deny it, to avert my eyes, reality was forever ingrained in this body. No, I don't want to think about it. But I had no say in the matter. Get out of my head!